Hi everyone, today is October 10th, which means it's World Mental Health Day. I just wanted to talk to you guys briefly about mental illnesses and the difference between some of them and a little bit about the stigma behind it, and you know how we don't see it in media a lot. So yeah, here we go. So firstly, I just wanted to touch bases on the fact that there are many different mental illnesses, and there's many different ways that even those generalized illnesses present themselves. So, you know, if you have anxiety and you're dealing with generalized anxiety and you don't necessarily understand how someone else with anxiety is coping or feeling, just know that there's different forms of it. There's, you know, social anxiety, there's various forms of every mental illness. So there's different degrees and different types of things. Some of them are onset, some of them are clinical. So just know that although that there are differences, you are generally dealing with very similar things. So be open-minded about someone who is also mentally ill, and try to open your eyes and realize that they are going through similar things as you. So yeah. I also wanted to touch bases on some mental illnesses that can be a little bit scary to people, and these are illnesses that we don't like talking about because they are on a very deep level. And so some of those things, maybe like schizophrenia or an eating disorder, just realize that that person is still a person, and they're just, you know, dealing with something right now. So just be open-minded is all I can say. If you are someone who is mentally healthy and you are talking to someone who is mentally unhealthy, be open-minded, be caring, be loving, show them affection, show them that you care about their existence. And just try to be a good person towards them. That's all we really need as mentally unhealthy people. So, what else? I wanted to talk about how there is a stigma behind mental health, and often people do not like to talk about it. And if you do talk about it, sometimes you can be silenced because of, I guess, how personal it is. But I don't think it's something you should be quiet about. I think it's definitely something that we should talk about more often in our society, just because so many people go through it. But if everyone is afraid to talk about it, then how are we going to be able to come to this conclusion and help each other and, you know, give each other advice? You can't really do that if no one wants to talk about it. So I advise you to be aware of mental illnesses and be aware of your friends who have them and your family who has them. Always recognize them, and there's a way to talk to a mentally ill person and love a mentally ill person without shutting out their mental illness. That's very important to people. Just because someone necessarily doesn't want to talk about it doesn't mean that it's not there. And that's very important to people, I think. For me personally, I know my friends, you know, sometimes my friends and family don't feel comfortable talking about it, and that's okay. But I don't want them to just pretend that I'm not mentally ill because of that. You still want that illness to be recognized, because it's something that is important. It's something that is not just made up. It's not just, you know, something that people would want to have. It's just, it happens to people, and it is very important that we talk about it. Yeah. Some advice I could give you guys, if you are on meds, continue doing whatever it is that your doctor is telling you to do. If you're considering meds, do your research for sure. Realize that your medication is only going to do a certain amount for you. So what it's doing is causing the chemical imbalances in your brain to even out a bit, but you still need to put in the effort to self-care and to make affirmations, and it's part medicine and part you. So just be aware that if you are on meds, it's not going to instantly cure you. It'll help you for sure, but it will not instantly cure you. That's something that you have to do, and you have to find deep down inside yourself and kind of try to understand, how can I help my depression? How can I help whatever it is that I have? And if you don't know, that's a great time to go to a therapist, psychologist, or psychiatrist. They should be able to help you. But there are a lot of people who have been talking about mental health in healthcare and how it can be bad sometimes. And I just wanted to encourage you to keep trying to find your perfect doctor. I think your mental health care physician is kind of like someone that you would be okay with being in a relationship with. You have to be very open with them. You have to be comfortable. You have to be able to trust them. So once you find that person, congratulations. I'm really happy for you, because, you know, some people are still looking. So just realize that you're not alone. It can be very hard sometimes, but you know, from experience from going to a psych hospital, I realized, because I saw people around me that were my age and that were going through similar things, that you really aren't alone. And so find confidence in people who you know understand. Find someone who is understanding and use them as your anchor if you need to. You can use a hobby as your anchor if you need to, singing, painting, hiking. I find that connecting with nature and exercising is very helpful, so try to do that if you can. I know it's hard to stay healthy, and it's hard to stay in a very positive mindset, especially with a lot of the things that are going on today in the world and media in general. So just know that every person is individual, and what you do in your life and your choices that you make and how good of a person you are is not measured by your looks. It's not measured by your mental health. It's not measured by anything else. I think it's measured by your care, how much you care, your caring abilities, and how good of a person you are if you give back to people, stuff like that. Anything else is insignificant. Your weight, your looks, your IQ, everything else is insignificant. If you think of it as, am I a good person? Do I deserve to be called a good person, a good sister, a good mother, a good daughter? If you think that, it's easier to get in a positive mindset, because you're not thinking about the things that are, you know, insignificant. You're thinking about what truly matters, and that is your sense of caring and your sense of giving back. So that's just my opinion on everything. I hope you guys have a wonderful World Mental Health Day, even though it's almost over. If you guys ever need to talk, I'm always available. I can help you with anything you want. Obviously, I'm not a licensed physician, so I can't be your therapist, but I can always help you if you really need it. So otherwise, be sure to contact those hotlines. There's a lot of mental health hotlines. I'll link them down below. The Trevor Project, To Write Love in Her Arms. There's a lot of projects that I can link below. So once again, guys, stay healthy, stay kind, and I love you, and you're so important, and I'll see you guys later.